Okay, so this time our topic is medyo technical, no? Database and information management, no? The basis for business intelligence management. In today's data-driven world, databases and information management are vital components of any successful organization. Believe me, no? So as businesses continue to generate vast amounts of data daily, no, managing and organizing this data has become essential for strategic decision making, no? A well-structured database allows businesses to store, retrieve, and manipulate data efficiency, creating a foundation for better insights, improve productivity, and enhance customer experience. Okay, to give us more details about the topic, let us welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
Thank you, Doc. So, good morning, everyone. So, today I'll discuss the Chapter 6 Databases and Information Management. So, the basis of business intelligence management. So for the course intended learning outcomes, we are expected to learn and to know how to answer what are the problems of managing data resources in a traditional file environment and how are they solved by a database management system. And also, what are the major capabilities of database management system, DBMS, and why is a relational DBMS so powerful? And then what are some important principle of database design? What are the principal tools and technologies for accessing information from databases to improve business performance and decision making? And why are information policy, data administration, and data quality assurance essential for managing the firm's data resources? So first, organizing data in a traditional file environment. So users receive reliable, timely, and pertinent information via an efficient information system. So information that is accurate is error-free. So what do we mean by traditional file environment? So it refers to a method of organizing, storing, and managing data using separate files, each designed for specific functions or purposes. So this approach was commonly used in early computing system. Sorry, excuse me. System. So before the advent of modern database management system. So for example, in a retail company, data about inventory, suppliers, and sales might be stored in separate files. So inventory file contains details about stock levels and products, while supplier files store supplier contact and pricing details, and then sales files, records of customer orders and transactions. So the system filters irrelevant details and delivers content that aligns with the user's specific needs, optimizing productivity and decision making. Next, file organization terms and concept. Data are arranged by a computer system in a hierarchy that move from bits and bytes to fields, records, files, and databases. So this is a simple example of hierarchy figure showcasing how data are organized within a computer system. So bits is the smallest unit of data in computing, representing a binary value of 0 or 1, while bytes consist of 8 bits grouped together, so used to encode larger data such as character or symbol. And then fields are collection of bytes used to store a single piece of data such as name or a number. And then records, it's a combination of multiple fields related to a single entity. So for example, all details about one customer. And then file, it's group multiple records together. And then database, integrate multiple files to manage and organize structured information. So this hierarchy visually represents the flow of data organization within a computing system. Next is traditional file environment controversies. So without a corporate strategy, systems tended to develop on their own in the majority of firms. So each industry established its own system and data files, including accounting, finance, manufacturing, human resources, and sales and marketing. So here are the environmental file controversies. So first, we have redundancy and inconsistency in the data. So the absence of integration across department resulted in duplicate data being stored in multiple locations, leading to inefficiency and unnecessary storage costs. And then next, program data dependence. So it refers to a scenario where the structure or format of data is tightly linked to the application program that use it. So any change in the data structure or organization requires corresponding updates to all the program accessing the data. And then not being flexible. So a lack of flexibility, whether in systems, process, or mindset, can lead to challenges and inefficiencies in various contexts, including organization or decision making. And then next, lack of security. So poor security measures can result loss or compromise of sensitive data such as personal information, financial details, or trade secret. So information access and distribution may be out of control because there is a minimal management. So one example of this is when we receive an email that contains a link, which is a scam, and we accidentally click it, then we don't know that we already gave someone an access to our entire system. So that is why it is important to report any suspicious emails. Next is data availability and sharing issues. So accessing required data quickly is challenging because information resides in isolated systems or format, making retrieval time consuming. So for example, so the retail company operates with separate file system for its inventory management, sales, and customer service department. So each department maintain its own data independently. So for example, for the inventory department, they are tracking stocks levels and in a standalone spreadsheet file, while sales department records transaction details in its own local file system. And then, for example, customer service department logs customer complaints and inquiries in a separate database. So the issue for this is lack of real-time information sharing. So example, a customer places an order for a product online, but the inventory department file hasn't been updated to reflect a recent sale. So as a result, the sales department shows the item is in stock, but it is actually out of stock. So this miscommunication leads order cancellation, customer dissatisfaction, and wasted time. And then next is data management using a database approach. So many of the issues with conventional file organizing are solved by database technology. So a more precise definition of a database is a collection of data that has been centrally located and controlled to effectively support several applications. So for example, a retail company adopts a database approach for managing customer information, inventory, and sales transaction. So all customer data, names, contact information, purchase history is stored in a customer table, while inventory data shows product IDs, stock levels, pricing. So it is stored in an inventory table. And then sales data, it has the transaction ID, product ID, customer ID, dates, and then relationship between tables allow the company to track which customer bought specific products and then monitor stock levels and generate sales report seamlessly. So sharing. So when a product is sold, databases immediately updates inventory levels and associate the sale with the relevant customer. So instead of searching through multiple files, the company uses queries to generate a report of products purchased by a specific customer. And then next we have data management system. So It is specialized software designed to organize, store, and manage data efficiently while enabling applications and users to access and manipulate the data contained within the system. So example for this is the Orange app that we are currently using at is centralize the data. So in Orange app, we have the students' personal details, grades, and course enrollment in one system. So it ensures that sensitive student records are only accessible to authorized personnel such as faculty and administration. So how a database management system addresses issues with the conventional file environment. So by decreasing isolated files where the same data are duplicated, a database management system lowers data redundancy and consistency. Although the corporation might not be able to completely eradicate data redundancy, the DBMS can help control redundancy. So while completely eradicating redundancy may not be possible due to specific business needs, backup or distributed system, a DBMS minimizes unnecessary duplication and ensures intentional redundancy is managed effectively. So relational database management system. So different database models are used by modern DBMS to maintain track of entities, properties, and relationship. So the relational DBMS is currently the most common type of DBMS for PCs as well as for bigger system and mainframes. So our relational database management system is software that organizes data into structured tables with defined relationship between them. So it uses a relational model where data is represented in a row and columns, making it highly efficient for managing and retrieving information. Next is relational database management system operation. So it refers to the actions or processes that allows users and applications to interact with database efficiently. So these operations include data storage, retrieval, manipulation, and management. So using structured methods that leverage the relationship between the table. So for example, so imagine a hotel booking system using a relational database management system. So there is a table of guests for guests, rooms, and then for the data manipulation, details are added, reservations are updated, or canceled bookings are deleted. And then for the data querying, using SQL to find all available rooms for a specific date range. And then for the transaction operations, ensuring a reservation made online is saved permanently once payment is processed or rolled back if payment fails. And then indexing, searching for bookings by guest name or date is made faster using indexes. So these operations allow organization to efficiently manage and utilize their relational databases to support the operation. So next we have data management system capabilities. So the ability to manage, access, and organize data in a database is provided by a DBMS. So the data definition language, data dictionary, and data manipulation language are the most crucial. So DBMS provides tools to efficiently store, organize, and maintain data in a structured way, ensuring data consistency and reliability. So enable users and applications to retrieve and access data quickly and accurately, supporting seamless workflows and collaboration. So data definition language or DDL allows the creation, modification, and deletion of database structures such as tables and relations. So commands like create, alter, and drop, while data dictionary act as a centralized repository containing metadata, so information about the database structures and content, so helping user and administrators understand the database layout. And then data manipulation language or DML enables select, update, plans, update or schedule appointment or like insert. So SQL, also known as structured query language, is currently the most well-known language for data manipulation. So here is the example of what SQL looks like. Next is the database design. So understanding the links between the data, the types of data that will be kept in the database, how the data will be used, and how the organization will need to alter to handle the data from a company-wide perspective are all necessary before you can develop a database. So types of data. So we need to identify the kind of data to be stored, such as numerical, textual, or database information, and decide on the attributes required for each entity. And then data usage, we need to determine how the data will be used. It will be in reporting, querying, updating, so to optimize the data design for performance and functionality. And we also need to assess the organization's overall needs to ensure the database supports company-wide goals, processes, and future requirements. So here is a simple example of database. So as you can see under supply, you will see the delivery ID and other information. So something like that. So improve business performance and decision making by the use of databases. Databases are usually by business used to manage operations, manager and staff and help the organization run more smoothly. So streamlining routine transactions. So for example, the application processes nawala po ako. Share ko lang po ulit yung screen. Okay po. So database are used by business to record routine transactions like paying suppliers, fulfilling orders, monitoring customers, and paying staff. So databases are also necessary to give data that will improve decision making. So for the application, so databases are used to manage everyday transactions such as paying suppliers, processing customer orders, tracking employee salaries, and monitoring inventory. And then for the benefit, it automates repetitive tasks, reducing errors and saving time. So it provides real-time updates, ensuring accurate and efficient transaction processing. Next is the big data challenges. So data sets with large volume that database management system cannot capture, store, analyze are now referred to as big data. So businesses are interested in big data because it has the potential to provide new insights into consumer behavior, weather patterns, financial market activity, and other. So what is big data? So big data refers to extremely large, complex data sets that cannot be effectively managed, processed, or analyzed using traditional data processing methods. So it is characterized by its vast value, diversity of data types, and the speed at which is generated and needs to be processed. So here are the key characteristic of big data. So this is what they call the three V's. So first we have volume. It refers to the massive amount of data generated daily. So for example, terabytes of social media posts, sensor data, or streaming services. And then next we have variety. It includes different types of data structures like tables, semi-structured, and unstructured videos or images. So, for example, text, emails, logos, and multimedia content. And then third, we have velocity. It describes the speed at which data is generated and needs to be processed in real time or near real time or yeah. And then for example is the online stock market trading data or live event updates. So next topic is the infrastructure of business intelligence. So business intelligence or BI infrastructure consists of the tools, technologies, systems, and processes required to collect, store, and analyze and visualize data for decision making. So here are the key components that make up BI infrastructure. So for the example, the point of sales or POS are being used by cashiers. So the system tracks the daily sales. So then inventory management software monitors stock levels while customer relationship management or CRM system stores customers' information. Next, we have data marts and data warehouse. So the data warehouse has been the conventional instrument for analyzing company data for the past 20 years. So a data warehouse is a database that houses both recent and old data that may be useful to decision makers across the whole business. So what is the difference between data warehouse and data mart? So data warehouse stores company-wide data such as sales figures, customer demographics, inventory levels, and financial reports. It provides executive with insight into overall performance, while Data Mart, the marketing team uses a data mart to analyze campaign performance, customer engagement data, and regional sales trends. So the inventory department uses another data mart to track stock levels and predict replenishment needs. So a combination of data warehouse and data marts ensures that organization can be balanced broad, strategic insight with targeted departmental analysis. And next we have the Hadoop. So big data or data that do not easily fit into the columns and rows utilized in their data models are not well suited for organization and analysis by Hadoop relational DBMS and data warehouse technology. So what is Hadoop? So what Hadoop is an open source framework designed to store and process large amounts of data efficiently across distributing computing environments. So it is particularly useful for handling big data by breaking down complex data tasks into smaller operations and distributing them across multiple machines. So these are the components of Hadoop. So we have HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, which stores large data sets by providing them into smaller blocks and distributing them across multiple nodes. And then we have MapReduce, processes data in parallel by splitting tasks into two phases, and then which is Map distributes and process data locally, and then Reduce combines the process result. And then we have Yarn or yet another resource negotiations, so manage resources across the Hadoop clusters. And then the Hadoop Common provides common libraries and utilities required by Hadoop modules. So it is widely used in industries like finance, healthcare, and retail for big data analytics, fraud detection, recommendation systems, and more. So example of Hadoop usage. So imagine a social media platforms wants to analyze user engagement like the likes, shares, and comments for millions of users. So for the data collection, engagement data is collected from various sources and stored in HDFS across multiple nodes. And then for the data processing, Hadoop uses MapReduce to process this data. So for the map phase, count the uh, number of likes, shares, and comments for each post across distributed nodes. And then the reduce phase aggregates discounts to generate overall engagement metrics. So as a result, insights such as most like posts or user activity trends are delivered to managers for strategy development. Next, we have the memory-based computing. So utilizing in-memory computing, which primarily uses a computer's main memory or RAM for data storage, is another method for aiding a big data analysis. Traditional DBMS employ these storage platforms, so users have access to the data that is kept in the system's main memory, which eliminates bottlenecks associated with reading and retrieving data from a conventional disk-based data database and significantly speeds up query responses time. So in-memory computing is a method of storing and processing data directly in a computer's main memory or RAM instead of relying on traditional disk-based storage. So since RAM is significantly faster than disk storage, in memory computing, it greatly reduces data retrieval times and speeds this is especially beneficial for real-time big data analytics where speed is critical. And then next is the analytical framework. So an analytical framework refers to the infrastructure and processes designed to extract, process, and analyze insight from large data sets efficiently. So commercial database manufacturers have developed advanced high-speed analytical platforms to tackle the complexity of analyzing big data using a combination of relational and non-relational. So relational technology, it organizes data in structured formats like tables, rows, ensuring consistency. And for example, what I showed earlier, the SQL databases. And then we have non-relational technology. It handles unstructured or semi-structured data, like no, there is no SQL. And then we have analytical processing or OLAP. So online analytical processing is a category of technologies and tools designed for analyzing large data sets, particularly multidimensional data. So OLAP enables users to explore data interactively from multiple perspectives, making it a powerful tool for business intelligence and decision making. So examples of OLAP usage is here. So sales analysis. So all of tools allow the company to analyze sales revenue across dimensions like time, location, and then product categories. And then the insight, the company identifies that summer sales are highest in certain regions and adjusts its inventory accordingly. So benefits of OLAF, it facilitates faster decision making by providing quick access to aggregate data, and then it enhances business intelligence by identifying relationship patterns and trends, and it supports large scale data analysis with an intuitive interface. And then we have data mining. So data mining is a specialized analytical process focused on uncovering hidden patterns, relationships, and meaningful insights in large data sets. So unlike OLAP, which organizes and explores data in predefined dimensions, data mining dives deeper into discover previously unknown correlations and rules within massive databases. So these are the data mining techniques. So first, association rule mining. So finds relationship between variables in large data sets. So for example, if a customer buy milk, they are likely to buy bread. And then clustering groups similar data points into categories, grouping customer based on buying behavior. And then classification, it assigns the data to predefined groups on characteristics. For example, categorizing emails as spam or non-spam. And then regression analysis, it establishes a relationship between variables to predict outcomes. So, for example, predicting sales growth based on advertising spend. For example, a grocery stores applies data mining techniques to analyze purchase history. So pattern discovered, customers buying diaper often purchase beer as well. So what they did is that the diaper buyers are 70% likely to buy beer. So what they did is the store places diapers and beer in a proximity or closer together, boosting the cross sales. And then we have text and web mining. So web mining is the process of finding and analyzing interesting patterns and data from the internet. So text mining and web mining are two distinct data analysis techniques focused on understanding patterns and insights. So text mining, text mining, also known as text analytics, involves extracting meaningful information patterns and insights from textual data. So this method is used to process and analyze large amount of unstructured text such as documents, emails, or social media posts, while web mining refers to the process of extracting useful insight from web data, including web content, web structure, and web usage data. It combines technique from data mining and web analytics to analyze web activity and extract valuable patterns. And then next we have the web and databases. So the web or World Wide Web is a system of interconnected documents and applications stored on servers which users can access via the internet using browsers. So website and web applications rely heavily on the data to function, whether it's user profile, product catalogs, or financial records. And then what is database? So a database is an organized collection of data that can be easily accessed, managed, and used. So databases power the web by storing all the information required for website and applications to operate efficiently. So for example, an e-commerce website, so the database role is to store customer details, product information, order history, and payment records. So the web role display the product catalog and processes user action like adding items to the cart. So the interaction is that the website queries the database for product availability and the database updates stock levels after purchases. So managing data resources. So creating a database is just the beginning. So your company will require unique rules and procedures for data management in order to ensure that the data for your organization remains accurate. So setting clear guidelines ensure data accuracy, consistency, and reliability over time. And also define who can access, who can edit, or delete specific data to avoid unauthorized modification, and then implement backup strategies to protect data against accidental loss or system failures. And then formulating a policy for information. So data from your company are a valuable resource and you don't want anyone to use them any way that they like. So rules must be established regarding who can access the data, how it should be maintained, and how it should be changed. So for example, data maintenance. So it established rules for how data should be managed to ensure accuracy and consistency over time. So we need to create a policy guidelines like regularly update records to reflect the most accurate information, implement automated checks to detect and remove duplicate or outdated data. So we need also to specify schedules for routine data audits and validation. So for example, the customer contact details are verified annually to maintain the accuracy. And then ensuring data quality. So maintaining high data quality is essential for accurate analysis, decision making, and organizational success. So here's what we can do to ensure that our data remains reliable. So we need to implement data validation. So use automated tools or manual checks to validate data entries and ensure they meet required standards. So for example, ensure numerical values falls within acceptable ranges. So verify mandatory fields like email address are filled accurately, and then cleans data regularly. So we need to remove duplicate, outdated, or irrelevant entries to keep the database streamlined and accurate. So that's all for my report. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Gladys?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. Uh, so as I mentioned, the topic is very technical, no? Uh, a while ago, no? The database, as I mentioned, will be the collection of unorganized data that is stored electronically and can be accessed, no, managed and updated easily, no? The modern databases, no, come in various forms such as relational databases, no, SQL databases, and cloud-based, no, databases such each suited to different organizational needs, no, because relational database like MySQL, Oracle, and SQL Server use tables in a structured query language to manage data, while no SQL database like MongoDB and Cassandra are ideal for handling large unstructured or semi-structured data. So information management deals to the systematic collection, no, organization, storage, and dissemination of information within an organization. So it ensures that data is accurate, accessible, and secure. So effective management allows organizations to transform raw data into valuable information that support strategic planning and day-to-day operations, because it involves data governance, data quality management, metadata management, and the integration of various information systems. Now, one of the major benefits of sorry. Wait. Sorry. Okay. So one of the major benefits of effective database and information management is improved decision making. No, accurate, timely, and relevant information is crucial for executives and managers when developing business strategies or solving operational problems. No, through business intelligence tools integrated with well-managed or well-maintained databases, no, decision makers can identify trends, forecast outcomes, and make evidence-based decision, giving the organizations a competitive advantage. So data security and privacy are also important aspect of database and information management. So as organization handle sensitive data such as customer information, financial records, and intellectual property, securing these databases is vital. No? Effective security measures include encryption, access controls, and regular audits to prevent data breaches and ensure compliance with data protection regulations like Data Privacy Act, GDPR, and HIPAA. No? Without strong security, organizations risk financial loss, reputational damage, and legal consequences. We are all familiar with cloud computing, because cloud computing has also revolutionized how business manage databases and information. cloud-based database services offer scalability, flexibility, and cost effectiveness. Our company can now easily scale storage capacity and computing power based on demand without investing heavily in physical infrastructure because cloud platforms like Amazon, RDS, no, Google Cloud SQL, and Microsoft Azure SQL databases provide robust managed database solutions that simplify maintenance and ensure high availability. So, again, to cut in short, no, database and information management from the bedrock of business intelligence management, they enable organizations to store, again, to process, to secure, and analyze large amount of data effectively. So, data continues to grow in volume, variety, and velocity. So, businesses that invest in robust database system and efficient information management practices will be better positioned to make informed decisions, drive innovation, and stay ahead in an increasingly competitive market. Okay, so thank you so much for the presenter.